ahead. Yay! There we go. All right, so we're going to get started by introducing our very special guests. Taylor Lowe, Media Design MFA graduate from 2011, and Devika Arora, Entertainment Business Masters 2011 graduate. So please give a warm welcome, round of applause for them. Thank you so much for being with us today, guys. And
you're very welcome.
This is just going to be a nice team-only informal discussion into how you guys found out about Wholesale, what were the biggest benefits you found from your online program experience, how you applied it to your career path, during your program and afterwards, and, some of your biggest challenges, and really anything that you'd like us to share, any advice, any feedback for prospective students that are possibly interested in going into these programs or any Wholesale online program. So Taylor, would you like to start off and introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name is Taylor. I came from the video production industry. I was a motion graphics designer for many, many years. I still work freelance for the company that I left to get into education. I love learning. I'm a forever student. Anything I can do to further my education, I do it. And so now I have the privilege and honor to invest into middle school and high school students and teach them all the stuff that Wholesale teaches on the video production side. We're teaching the Creative Cloud and 3D design with Maya and Cinema 4D to students as early as in the 5th grade. And the idea is to prepare them early for when their career, if they decide to pursue a career in any kind of digital content creation, that they are ahead of the game so that they can, have the best first step of getting into that career. You can see on the deck there, I've done a few things for some networks, and just happy to be here today to share my Wholesale journey with you.
Awesome, thank you. And Devika, would you like to introduce your background a little bit more?
Sure. So hi everybody. It's like 6:30 here, and I'm from Bangalore, India, and I'm sitting next to my cat, so he might meow a bit. If you guys hear it, just ignore that. I'm currently a head coach at a company called Leverage Edu, which is an online education platform that uses AI tools to connect students and professionals to the best options for them career-wise or even academically. So I do actually refer quite a few students to Wholesale, because when I found Wholesale, this was back in the day when, online education still wasn't where it is now. And it was a bit of a risk taking that on, but my parents supported me and I went for it. And it's helped me so much by just kind of being able to adapt to things much better than a lot of my peers. And I find that Wholesale has a lovely way of putting together the right teachers and the right kind of, people to make that happen. So work-wise, I've had a really strong background in marketing and branding, and as well as just entertainment. So I was head of marketing at places from GoPro to Alienware. I've worked with Telefonica, O2. I've worked at a moving picture company in Vancouver, where I worked on visual effects production teams for Fast and the Furious 7, Maleficent, Hunger Games, Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman. So I've had a lovely, work experience kind of journey, and it's all because of Wholesale and the degree I took and that risk that happened and that I grabbed onto. So I'm really happy. I actually went from Harvard to Wholesale, which was the biggest thing ever in my life. And yeah, so I'd love to tell you more about my journey in detail, but that's where I'm at now.
So that's a great start to, I think, where we should really dive into first is, how did you guys find out about Wholesale, and how did you decide that an online degree with Wholesale was the right fit for you? So if you want to continue from the Harvard kickoff, I think that would be very interesting to hear.
Okay, sure. So I was definitely a geek in high school and growing up. I've always been the girl who loves reading and studying and doing all of that. So my path mentally was, I want to do something where I can have a very strong career But at the same time, I had, I have a very creative bent to me, but I want to make a lot of money and I want to have that sort of prestige on my resume as well. So initially growing up, I just was looking at Ivy Leagues and things like that. So I wanted to go to Harvard, and I got through and did my summer schooling there. And something just didn't feel like soulful enough, or just felt like maybe this isn't my path. And at the same time, I think 6 months prior, I had found Wholesale online. And I also heard of Wholesale at an education fair that had come to my city. I don't remember which company it was, but I really loved the fact that it was so different from the other universities. It was very transparent. It was very, this is what we teach you. These are skills you can use in the real world. We're for profit, but we have a strong sort of industry profile of people who will be teaching. And it kind of stayed with me, but I still was, stuck with my initial thing of going to a traditional school, more like that. And I'm from India, so our parents and the culture is also like, they want you to be a little more safe. But once I had that experience at Harvard, I realized straight away that this wasn't going to work for me. And I called Wholesale, and we kind of got talking and everything worked, and it just clicked. I fell in love with the curriculums and the people and the campus. And I even came and visited. I was there for a long time. And then I did parts of it there, and then went back to India and finished it off here. And it just happened, and it happened very well.
Awesome. Taylor, how did you find out about Wholesale?
Well, I was the current role that I was in at the video production company I was working for, and I was just looking to further myself. I knew I was about to do a job change, like to go maybe try to find a new company to work for, and I was looking for something to differentiate myself from others in the industry, have some sort of backing, and I also just wanted to be a better designer. And I was doing studies by myself, but I knew I wanted to have a master's. Like I know I really wanted that validity and that solid education. And so I was shopping around universities everywhere. And like Dee was saying, online at that time was not, it was there, but it wasn't what it is today. And so I knew that, the universities that were around me that I could physically go and attend, they just didn't have a program that really interested me that much. They had design master's programs, but they didn't really have, it just wasn't what I was really looking for. And so a friend of mine, actually, he still works here at Wholesale, and I always coveted his Wholesale undergrad degree because I really wanted to go to Wholesale. And so he said, "Hey, Wholesale has master programs, right?" I was like, "What?" And so I literally hung up, I didn't even say goodbye. I hung up on him, ran to the computer, and I started looking at them. And I was like, "Oh, I want all of these. Where do I even start? I want to do all of these." And so I struggled with which one to go for. But then I saw the media design one, and me wanting to be a better designer and looking at other schools, all their programs just looked boring. They didn't really sell it. And so when I saw this program, how it was marketed on the website, all the branding that was around it made me want it. And so I'm like, well, if they make me want this degree, that's what they're going to teach me. They're going to teach me how to market something and let it speak to me to want to join that program. So, I was very leery of, I wanted a master's, but coming from a traditional state school, college is a hassle to get into. There's the registration, you have to wait, you have to say, okay, do you get into the program? Then you have to fight for classes, and there's only one class you need that's available at this semester, and you got to wait. And so I was very taken back by Wholesale when I submitted my email to get more information. Someone called me in 30 minutes. And then we had a conversation. The woman that I spoke with, we sat on the phone for an hour talking about Wholesale, and she was happy to talk to me about it. She said, "Hey, you could start next week if you wanted to," because it was right there on that month. The month started, or we maybe said a couple of weeks. But I was just so impressed at how efficient and how easy it was to get into the program and all that it had to offer. It was just an amazing discovery and journey through the program.
We have a question, Taylor. Who was the person at Wholesale that shared more about online with you?
His name is Shane Proctor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. He works right next to our office.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love that guy. We've been buddies this is probably 15 years now. So he's a good guy.
That's awesome. All right. So when you guys start, your programs were the 12-month masters, so different than a bachelor's degree,
Right.
But still with definite challenges. You guys were both working at the same time you were taking your degrees, remind me?
Yes, I was working full time at a video production company.
Okay. And I don't know if we lost Devika. She dropped? She's
I'm
probably
back. Can you hear
okay.
me?
There we go.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest challenges that you guys experienced in your online program, whether it be with the platform, formatting, student interaction, instructors?
Do you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You go first. Let's go.
Okay. For me, it was time management, because it's a hard degree. I mean, it's not, and that's what I was looking for. You know, I didn't want a participation trophy. You know, we're not like rec league, YMCA soccer, where you pay your money, you show up, and here's a degree. You know, I wanted something that was going to challenge me. And I knew I was ready for the challenge, but I didn't know what that challenge was going to entail when it came to actually day-to-day operation. And so that was difficult too, but I fell right in, you know, but that first month was a little stressful. It was like, wow, I go to work, I eat, I, you know, do all my work until late in the night, and then I repeat, you know? And so just getting into that flow. But I loved every second of it, you know, and that also, outside of the program, it taught me how to be better with my time management. And so that was just the benefit of it, of the degree as well.
Yeah, I actually totally agree, Taylor. I think that was such a good, it's almost like it was a good and a bad thing at the same time. I missed
Right.
being around people and interacting with my friends and things off, but it made me almost become like my own, you know, playing all those different roles myself and almost wearing all those hats. And I ended up becoming an entrepreneur after this, literally because this course almost challenged me so much that I had to learn all those things you need to know when you need to manage and run your own business. You need to be very self-disciplined. You need to know how to manage your time. You need to know how to answer to yourself, even when you're so, you know, tired. You have to keep going, and you need to find ways to be creative about problems and tackle them with new solutions that probably people haven't even thought of before, because you're in a unique situation. But and now I kind of look at how things have caught up, especially with COVID, and everyone's kind of moving online and trusting it more and doing the whole edu thing. And I'm like, see you guys, I knew it. Like, we kind of had an edge on that. And so that way, I feel like, yeah, it was definitely like a plus and a minus. But the pluses outweighed the minuses for me, because it gave me so much free time to focus on things outside of school as well, and kind of supplement that my work experience and all of that went through the roof. And then I got, you know, later on in my career, I started getting jobs that were far out of my league, just like other senior people who were much older should have gotten them. But because I had that time to get that experience in, it built my confidence, and I actually ended up getting roles that were pretty amazing. So I think challenging wise, I think curriculum, building a curriculum for that age group, or, you know, adults in general, because each of us learn so differently, it can be a bit of, you know, like, how do we go about this? Where do we maneuver this task? Do we make it more project based? Do we have more group settings? But the balance of that is something I think that any online school should just be mindful of and keep in mind when they're building their courses. So I wish I could see what like the Wholesale thing looks like now, because it must be so much more different in advance than it was when we did the courses.
Yeah, because it was amazing even then. I was
Exactly.
blown away by the platform.
In fact, even now when I log on and I see some of the portals, I'm like, wait, this is nothing. Like we had it like even better and more advanced than this back then. So it's yeah, it's pretty cool that way.
So Taylor, you and I had been talking about networking and how like just networking is so important, and we preach it all the time, but in online it's such a different world. But you still came out and shared how significant it was to your success in your career. Can you tell us a little bit about networking at Wholesale, your advice, and then also how networking in your career was pinnacle to your next jobs?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, networking is everything. And, you know, you hate that it's like, it's who you know. It's kind of has a bad stigma to it, but really it is who you know. Even starting my career, I was very, very blessed and fortunate that when I was doing my 4-year degree, the gentleman that started the video production program at the university I attended, he was very active in the industry. We called him Batman because he drove a black Escalade, and all of a sudden he would just disappear for like 3 or 4 days, and he wouldn't tell us where he was going. But he was a member of the DGA, and he's off directing national broadcasted television shows, and I was a TA for him, so he would let me know where he was going, and he didn't want everyone to know what he was doing. So everyone like, where's he at? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm lying to you in your face, but I don't know. And so, he took a chance on me, with my career. He knew I really liked motion graphics, and he was doing a special event for CC Winans for young girls at the Belmont Arena in Nashville. And he needed someone to do some screen graphics for him. And he said, hey, I'll take a chance on you, show me what you can do. And then we've been working together ever since. And that was probably in 2003, maybe. And so, it's and with that, his contact, I've branched out to places like BET and, all these other major networks just because of reference with him and with people that you meet in the industry. And then it's very difficult to get into that industry, especially in the motion graphics side of things. Because if they don't know who you are, and they're going to entrust you with a nationally broadcasted television show, they need to know you. They need to know who you are, because it's like you get childcare for your kid. You want to know what they're going to do. You want to do your research to make sure they can take care of this project. And so having that network reference for you is everything. And having a degree from Wholesale, that of itself is kind of like its own networking thing, especially with the career development department. I worked very closely with them when I was looking to change my roles, and they were amazing with networking me with other people. And then just having that Wholesale degree alone carries so much weight, because anybody who knows Wholesale knows the rigors of what it takes to get a degree from here. It's almost like when you walk across the stage, it's like, you survived, congratulations, now go make awesome things. And so when I was applying for my job that I was changing to, the search committee saw Wholesale on my resume, and they literally took my resume and put it on the top of the stack and said, look at this guy first, because we know the kind of quality that Wholesale can produce. So it's people, and it's also that degree are huge for networking.
How about for you, Devika?
I agree. I think that because I'm from India, networking is so hard and different anyway in terms of the entertainment industry, and I did the entertainment business degree. So what I did is I was one of those early adopters of getting online and finding people's email addresses and reaching out and just kind of telling them my story, because I didn't have any connections or networks to do with that. But LinkedIn was, I think, just coming out at that point. It just started out, and I used LinkedIn very heavily. And I also reached out to my admissions and international team at Wholesale, and I said, you got to help me. You got to help me put me in touch with people. And they did. They put me in touch with their Indian counterparts, with lots of companies. In fact, Rockstar Games and I was picking between Alienware and Rockstar Games as my first internship. So when it comes to networking, if you're smart about it, you don't necessarily need the person physically. And now we're in the perfect time where everyone's online. Everyone's waiting for, messages to collaborate and to talk and to help you and to give you mentorship. And it's more accessible. Everyone's used to it. So you can even do that, while you're studying, while you're kind of thinking, okay, there's 6 months to go, start your networking. Make a list of people that are maybe heads of companies that you really like, and then find the HR person at those companies, send out emails. So it's about being proactive, and Wholesale helps you as well. But I think communicating that and being a bit early about it really gives you an edge. So I found that it really helped me.
I think you got muted again, Krista.
Sorry.
Your computer doesn't like you for some reason. It's like, no talking for you.
No talking for me.
I see some questions here from, yeah. I see one, yeah.
Yeah, what Wholesale organized networking events helped you guys most? And what do you think we can add or do better to provide our students with those networking opportunities?
I don't know if I attended any. I don't
Yeah, I
think
did. I was online, so I couldn't really attend any. I was
yeah,
always jealous of them. And when I see pictures of them today, I'm like, that's incredible. Like getting all those industry leaders in one place and letting the full sales students talk to them, it's incredible. But mostly for me, it was just the career development department was I utilized that the most.
And you, Devika, did you have any? You said no.
so I actually reached out to my team, my professors, everyone that I was interacting with at Wholesale, and I told them straight up, this is what I love to do. Do you know anyone who could connect me to at these kind of companies, at these teams? And they're like, oh wait, actually there's an opening here. Oh, I know someone who works for the India branch. So it was I actually reached out to my team. I reached out and they helped me a lot.
Yeah, you guys are part of the very proactive bunch. Any advice for the students who maybe are looking for some extra support resources that are not the go-getters that will create them if they don't exist?
Interesting. I suppose that I guess I don't know what it is like now. Do you have local networking events for students that are not studying on campus and things like that? Or is it more?
We do have some regional networking events for graduates mostly, but then we've also started pairing it with regional prospective student events as well, and live meet and greets. So we do have some of that in the works in some major cities like New York City, Miami, Chicago.
Okay. I guess with networking, you kind of have to put yourself out there. That's the entire point, is there has to be action. So even if it is slightly more laid back, it can still even just be if it's over meetup groups and things like that, or people where, like, I joined a lot of entrepreneurial groups because I wanted to start my own company. And that was a huge resource for me because other people my age helping me, talking to me, gave me so much confidence, and it just kind of removed my anxiety. They gave me contacts through them. So it almost starts off, I think the best thing to tell the students is you need to just start with one person and it snowballs, because one good person, one good contact means they're opening up their entire box of tricks for you if they like you. And if you're nice and authentic, I think it's really important to come across and to be really genuine about what you want. And that kind of, just being very human about it and being like, this is my thing, I really want some help, could you maybe do something. That's all you need to do. You start it off with one person and you make it a habit, and it slowly just becomes a part of your game, especially in these industries. It's super important, I think.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I agree. If the more people you can get yourself in front of, the better. But I think there's also, students need to understand that there's that saying where, like, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. But if the wheel is making way too much noise, it gets thrown out, And so there's a fine line between bugging someone to get a job and then showing someone that you are capable of doing a job. And I think a lot of students, and I've heard a few people tell me, like, but even when I was going to school, they want to start at the top, they don't want to put in that work to get there. And so, I mean, I know I wanted to do motion graphics, but to get into that, I had to go to a ton of music video shoots in Nashville and get coffee, or I had to be the one that went to the truck to get C-stands, so, but they're not going to trust you with the big jobs if you can't handle, putting in that effort, and not that it's not a big job, but, if you're starting out in the industry, they want to see that effort. And I think another important thing is not so much they're only hiring you for your skill set, but they're going to hire the person. Because, if you're in an edit session, like if you're in a session with me and I'm the biggest jerk in the world, even if I'm the best at what I do, no one's going to work with me. I think people, a lot of time, they'll hire a personality as much as they will someone who is highly skilled at what they do, especially because those people are probably going to be more coachable and want to do a better job versus someone who's stuck up because they're the best, and no one's going to want to work with you. So it's all about balance. It really is.
We have quite a few questions backlogging here. So now, more than a moment ago, Devika, you mentioned that networking in India, it was hard. What are some challenges, and what helped and encouraged you to think outside the box?
Okay, so I think I almost took it as like, okay, no one else is doing this. There aren't a lot of other female entrepreneurs that kind of want to go out there and try something fun and new and fresh and take that risk. And I think that motivated me more than anything else was, I want to do it. I can do it. So I started my first company called 420 or 420. So in Hindi, it's 420. And it literally means up to mischief. And we have this beautiful flea market sort of performing arts space. And every 2 months, I would just come together and put the best new musicians and new businesses and showcase talent. So we started off, and I used only two things: no capital. I started off with community, with my social media, and just by saying, this is a platform for you guys. Come, just come. I'll organize it. Let's get together. So when you start off, when there's no one's done something before, you've got to use your local community to start something, and to literally start with your friends or network out that way, and then just bring people together. So after about our third event, I started charging ticket prices and things like that. But the first few, was just like pro bono, just come, let's get together, let's all just kind of connect. So the minute someone gets that experience and they see, this is great, I really like this, it snowballs. So for me, I almost had to flip the networking and kind of call people to me instead of me going out there, because there wasn't anyone for me to go to. So I created that sort of watering hole, if you will, of a community of artists and people who wanted to create and didn't know what to do with it. So I was like, okay, we're all similar, let's band together. And I kind of learned that at one of the Wholesale classes, which was really interesting. It's all about just thinking a bit, how do we do this guerrilla style with no resources at hand, and do it and just try. So don't be afraid to do something and fail, because every time you fail, you're going to learn something new about what not to do. So your attitude about it is what has to be really positive, and you got to have a good support system. If anyone's going to put you down and be negative about it, your motivation is going to just dip. So be very careful about your tribe when you're doing these things, because you're putting yourself out there, so you're going to feel vulnerable. But essentially, whenever I kind of reached a challenging point and had to think out of the box, I would just kind of look at it backwards and start from where I wanted to be, and then broke steps down and went for it.
Awesome. Another one for Devika. Have you had to be flexible to find your job opportunities and willing to relocate, and often?
Yes, absolutely. Because like I said, India doesn't have a strong entertainment industry outside of Bollywood, which is just Bombay. And I didn't want to work in Hindi cinema. I wanted to work in Hollywood, and I wanted to work in the music industry or things like that. So I knew I would not be able to stay here. And I did. I moved. I've worked in London. I've worked in Vancouver. I've worked in Boston. And it's taken me all over. I've had about 6 different PIN codes in 10 years. It's been exhausting. I had to live out of a suitcase for a long time. I remember I stopped unpacking at points. And it takes a toll on you in lots of ways, because, you're not always on the go. But the flip side is, now I look back and I did that 10 years of hard work, and it set me for the rest of my life. It's kept me now going, and I've got that confidence that no one can kind of take away from me, because I have an international perspective that I can bring to the table, which is quite invaluable in some ways. So yes, I've had to be flexible, very flexible. Yes.
What
I think the hardest part is getting your food back home. I don't know why that is, but it's always been the hardest thing. So yeah, that's one thing.
Oh, all right. Question for both. We got a few of those coming up. What advices would you guys give to someone who is planning to come to Wholesale? That's the big kicker question.
Yeah, it's
Really dig it. Yeah.
I would say, I think the most important thing about Wholesale, I think, is you're gonna get as much as you put into it. You're gonna have to work hard. It's not any degree that you go for. It's not easy, but it's not easy for a purpose. And so if like all of my students that I have here that I'm basically getting ready to go to Wholesale, should that be their career path, I tell them, like, you're going to have to work hard, but nobody wants to hire a lazy person. So it's not like it's working hard for no benefit. You're going to have to work hard, because that's what it's going to be out in the industry. And then I have some high school students that I still mentor, and, I give them projects, and I give them ridiculous turnaround times, and they're like, why, I can't do this. I'm like, well, that's going to happen to you. You're going to have a client come to you, and then it's going to be 11 p.m. and they're going to say, hey, I've got a scope change for you, and can we have that done by tomorrow at 10 a.m.? And then, you've got to, you got to do it. And so it's just getting them ready for what it takes to be successful in this industry. Because in the TV industry or the production industry, there's no 9-to-5 job. It's around the clock, and you have to be ready for that. And if you want to be successful, you have to be flexible. I know Dee mentioned being flexible, and if flexibility and working hard goes years with something like a Wholesale degree.
Another question for both. If you could change anything from your experience at Wholesale, what would that be?
Change anything. Do you want to take this one, or do you want me to go? Oh, did we lose her?
She may be having some internet issues.
Oh, okay. What would I change? I was sad when it ended. I want to do it again. I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, I really love my program. I was, like I told Krista, when I graduated, that was one of the happiest and saddest days of my life, because I'm like, I love the program. Oh no, it's over. And I'm already looking at like, what's the next one that I can do? So I don't know. I don't know if I would change any of it. I would have liked some more interaction with my students, with my fellow students. The collaboration was good, but I wish we would have had more face-to-face time, because the Zoom wasn't really a thing back then. Like stuff like this wasn't really, commonplace. And so I think a lot more collaboration with my fellow students would have been a lot more fun.
All right, throwing that question back to you, Devika. I think I know your internet's probably a little spotty, but if you could change anything from your experience at Wholesale, what would it be?
Actually, Taylor, you're completely right. I agree. I wish I just had more interaction with my students at the time, and I think that the e-learning platforms those days didn't really have the capacity to create more like teamwork sort of, discussions or video chats, even like this, or conferences. So this element would have just blown it out of the park. But even without that, what we did have was, I think we had Facebook groups and things where each batch had, their own sort of social media connect. And again, my batch was really, really fun, and they kept keeping in touch. And till today, I have quite a few friends from that batch that were actually still, like, we talk, and one of them got married, and we were going to go for the wedding, and then the COVID happened. So I'm like, even though I didn't even meet these people face to face, we did connect just over the Facebook groups and things like that. So imagine if that was right now with all of the tools we have available, it would have been just as good as being in class with them.
Perfect. How many hours per week on average did you guys have to dedicate to your online studies?
All of them.
A lot. Yes. A lot.
Again, I think that goes
20
back
conservative?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you want to put into it. Like if you really want to get the full effect, it was about maybe 20, 25. It depends on the week too. Every month was a different course. And so there were, at least with my program, there was different facets of how you're attacking brand design. And when it was time for motion graphics and videos, I was like, hey, let's kick back. I got, I only have to do 19 hours this week. But when it was doing the print side of things, I didn't come from the world of print. And so when we've got these projects designed around, magazine layouts and things like that, I wasn't as skilled in that area. And so that was when I relied heavily upon my fellow students for critiques and help, because there were some people from that industry that were, really skilled at what they were doing. And so it was great to have that collaboration between teacher and student to make it happen. But, I would say 20, 25, sometimes 30, sometimes 15. It depended upon the month, but it was a lot of time.
I know that Taylor and I were able to talk a little bit more about, because I don't think a lot of us know many graduates from the media design MFA. I personally don't. So feel free to shout out if you know any others. But one of the questions I had was how many people were in your class for starters, because sometimes they can range small, especially
Right.
if they're specialized masters. And was it a diversified group, or did everyone come in with basically the same skill set that you would expect? Or did some people come in with really no prior experience relative and still had something to bring to the table?
It's a really good question. And I think that's one of the things I loved about my program the most. I was in a pretty large class. I think there was 25, maybe 30 of us going through it one time. And again, some people dropped out along the way or delayed took a month off for whatever reason. Excuse me. But it was from all industry. Like I said, there was people from the print side. I came from the video side. There were educators in there. There were some that were doing, other video producers. I mean, there was the entire, design is universal. And so that's the best part about the degree was that, everything that we see, touch, do, interact with on a daily basis, someone designed it. And so because of that, the breadth of that, it was from all industry. And that really led to really good collaboration and leaning on each other for different months when we're talking about different aspects of design. So it was very interesting. And it was, some people came in with no experience whatsoever with graphics design, but they were just really interested in design. And so it was really neat to see the diversity of people that came through that program.
And I was surprised by the number of people you said were in the program. I feel like I'm used to hearing about smaller cohorts. And that's a pretty big group you found yourself in. That's great. Dee, do you have anything to share on that number of students and backgrounds they came in with?
I think one batch was, about 10, 15 of us. I don't think it was more. And I think that, our backgrounds were completely different. So again, it was incredible. I had friends and classmates from everywhere. No one had a similar background. Some people were older, some were younger. It's a mixed bunch. So it's definitely a motley crew of different people and experiences and stories coming together. And because I was in entertainment business, each of us also kind of was planning how we could do that, work with that in our home countries or in our own ways. But I think also what I wanted to just say, which is so important, is that Wholesale is really good with being flexible with you if you need to think about things or change your mind. And I was flitting, honestly, through entertainment business and film. I was so confused. Do I want to just kind of make it niche and focus on this? Do I want to do that? And the team was incredible. I think I changed my mind like a million times, and they were super patient. They were really nice. They realized this is a big decision. And she needs to do that herself. So I think for any students in the future as well, that's something that's really important to talk about, is that we're open to being flexible with you. Because with these kind of degrees, there's a certain level of, am I doing that? Like, I love all of them. Which one should I kind of major? Which one should I pick? So that Wholesale was so kind. I didn't ever feel afraid of being like, hey, I'm confused again, help me. And that really made me pick Wholesale in so many ways and really be like, oh my God, this team is wonderful. It's why I'm sitting here also talking about, to you guys, because there was so much respect and love for my time, my everything, my energy. And I'm supported throughout. So that way, don't be afraid of, oh my God, am I doing the right degree? You can always talk about it.
Awesome. Question for both. I think one of you brought up career development, but did career development provide either of you support to your professional success? If so, what was some of the support they provided?
Paper, rock, scissors to go first?
Go first. It's fine. Go first. I think you should go first. And I'll go
Okay.
again. Yeah.
I owe a lot to the career development department. They, I think, and it's the Wholesale mindset is that, they're not just, the whole Wholesale mindset is not just to give you a degree and say good luck. Wholesale wants you to be successful. They train you and they want to equip you so that you can get out in the industry and make amazing things wherever that is, whatever that is. And so working with the career development department, they have your best interest in mind. And so I had lots of conversations on the phone, via email, with my representative, and they look at everything from you. Like, I was looking to change jobs at the time. They look at your resume. They looked at my reel. They said, okay, let's tweak this. Let's tweak that. Let's change some wording on your resume. And I was kind of branching off into two industries. I didn't know if I wanted to go education or, how I was going to go. And so I had different resumes for different outlets. And so they helped me to figure out how to speak to different industries to best represent myself. And I didn't think about that. And so they are highly trained professionals that know your skill set and can adapt your skill set to be the most marketable that you can be for the industry, it's an incredible resource.
Awesome. I think there's maybe not enough students who go and try to take advantage of career development. They expect maybe that they will come and just drop an opportunity in their lap. And were you proactive about going to seek them out?
Yes, from as soon as I graduated, that was my next stop. As soon as I got my degree, I said, who do I talk to? Let's get busy.
Perfect. Another question. Oh, did you have anything to add, Dee, to that?
Oh, I want to say I used to reach out to my professors like all the time about this stuff as well. So my career development stuff started like even while I was studying. I would like just constantly be like, "Hi, can you like? Would you have 5 minutes to review this and check for me?" And they're like, "You want us to do extras?" Yeah, for sure. Like it was so nice. So and even at the end, even till today, in fact, Anu, she's from the international team. She kind of represents Wholesale in India as well, and does I think. Internationally, in fact, and she's been such a lovely, positive support, and she's like a pillar. She constantly keeps in touch with me. Even Kash, we have a group, we're always in touch. There's a bunch of us alumni from India that are always talking. We did an event last year, so it's just constant. So it wasn't just then. I mean, I graduated 2011, and 2011? I don't even remember now. Gosh, I'm old. And we're still in touch. So it's almost like it's been nonstop, so it's absolutely impeccable, I think. And even now they help me. We're always like, hey, could you maybe do this as an opportunity for you? This is something. And we reach out to each other. So it's like a family.
Oh, that's awesome. Question for Taylor. In your opinion, what are some of the jobs a graduate from the media design MFA degree can apply for? And I know we kind of talked about the broad spectrum that this can be applied to. So
that's true. Yeah, that's a very good question. Like I said earlier, design is in everything. Whether you're designing a marketing piece, you're designing a motion graphic for a television show, or in my case now, where I'm designing curriculum for students. It's all the things that you learn from that program. I know it sounds really cheesy to say, but just stay with me. But it's almost like you're learning how to see again, and you're learning how to speak again when you're dealing with a brand. I thought I knew what I was doing at a high degree before I came to Wholesale, and I was like, oh, I did so much stuff wrong. Let's just get rid of all that and we'll start over. Just because you learn how to tell a story with everything that you're doing. And if you're not telling a story with your work, then you've just got pixels on the screen. Everything that you make has to tell a story or evoke an emotion, or it's just static. So, any industry, you can go into education, you can go into like a marketing firm. The sky is really the limit, because everywhere you go, a story has to be told. And the MDMFA program tells you how to tell a story, all the while staying within a brand's vision, a brand's speech, and how that brand should speak to the consumer. So, this degree will make you a very well-rounded individual when it comes to designing anything.
I think this might be a good time to share some of your work, because I think we highlighted, you sent over some samples. Let me go ahead and get this up and see if I can. So if you want to talk a little bit about, you started in video production, so kind of the editing side, but then you wanted to get more two-dimensional print experience, and now you're designing major motion graphics, but you're also designing classrooms and curriculum and bringing that to what we were calling the very brainy Space Coast secondary education system. So talk a little bit about this.
Sure. So I work for Park Avenue Christian Academy right now when I'm not freelancing and doing motion graphics. And we are right by NASA, basically. NASA's in our backyard. When you watch a rocket
Oh,
go up on TV, we feel it. In fact, we get on the roof of our school and well, we don't tell the kids that because we don't let them know we have access. But there's a ladder in a closet where you can get on the roof and you can watch the rockets go off. It's really cool. And so we have a very, very high demand for STEAM education here because some of our students that are coming through our school, their parents are second generation space workers. Like they've worked in the space industry. And so we have to provide excellent education because they want to go work at the Cape when they get older. And so we have to prepare them. And so my role at the school is I handle all the technology, and we can talk about the Microsoft side in a second. But everything we do with excellence here. And the picture that you're looking at, I saw a need for an esports program because I love playing video games. And if I can play video games at work and not get in trouble for it, that's a huge win. And so I started an esports program here at our school, and I told my head administrator, I said, hey, if we're going to do this, we have to go big. He said, all right, I'll give you a room. And that was huge. If you've worked in a school ever and someone gives you a room, it's like you go put your name on the wall and say, don't touch, because it's always a turf war. And so I took over this classroom, and you can go to the next slide. And so I transformed it into this. And so this is our esports room. We also do I teach a lot of my media classes in here. We do 3D animation, video editing, visual effects, anything that needs some higher end machines, we do it here. And so, and again, this all goes back to design. If we're designing a space that has to invoke creativity, pique student interest, speak high technology. And if you have a computer and it doesn't glow, it doesn't count. We talked about that, D, because you work for Alienware, like it has to glow, otherwise it doesn't count. And so you have to invoke a space that's going to make students get excited about learning. And so that was the idea behind this room, was to turn this into like just a really cool futuristic room that speaks creativity. So you can go to the next slide if you want to. Oh, and here's a picture of our gaming team. And Wholesale was so gracious as to donate a bunch of swag for us to give away to our students. And it was like a feeding frenzy, like piranhas in the Amazon when I brought out the Wholesale shirts. Like I'm lucky I'm alive, but they grabbed those up quick. And so Wholesale has really supported our esports league. And we actually bring a bunch of our students to the Wholesale Labs building to compete in esports tournaments as well. So we rely heavily upon Wholesale for supporting our school, and we're very grateful that they do that.
So then we have different things.
Different stuff. This is the other side. So I was hired at Park Avenue Christian Academy in 2018, I believe. And our technology was it was bad. It was just not where it needed to be. Everybody was kind of on a mixed match of ICT platforms. And, the running joke was, hey, I created a document. You had to run it to the next room on a thumb drive and just pray they were on the same operating system as you and maybe had the same version of the application as you. So I was hired to change that. And so I came in and I updated our technology to the latest standards using Microsoft Technologies products and services. And through all that effort, we last year achieved Showcase School status. And what that means is that Microsoft they combed over every single bit of our daily operation, from administration to how we use, PowerPoint in the classroom. And they certified us as a Showcase school. And there are only 41 schools in the US that are certified Showcase, and I think around 400 in the world. So we adhere all of our technology standards to the highest possible bar as we can. I'm also a Microsoft Innovative Educator Master Trainer. In 3 years' time, I've trained over 900 educators using Microsoft technologies, whether it be Office 365 or their Surface line of products. And I was also certified as a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert through the use of innovative technologies in the classroom to enhance curriculum and empower students to achieve more with Microsoft services. So I sleep sometimes, like every once in a while I'll sleep, but so I've got multiple roles. And so this is actually After Effects. This is one of my design projects for the Stellar Awards. If you're not familiar with that award show, it's kind of like the Grammys, but it's specifically for gospel music. And this was what it looked like on my end, designing the graphics. And then you can go to the next slide. And this is what it looked like in the house. That is in Las Vegas in, oh goodness, there's a casino there that has a big arena. I think it's the New Orleans arena, New Orleans casino there. I'm not sure. But that was last year's Stellar Awards screen graphics that I produced for them.
So a broad range of things coming out of products and just creation coming out of what you thought maybe was just going to help boost your video editing and maybe get you some
Right.
print experience.
Right. Yeah. It was infinitely more beneficial to my career than I ever had thought. And I owe so much of the success that I have had to my time at Wholesale, which is why I'm happy to give back. And I want to give back because I want that same for other students to have as well.
Awesome. And Dee, I know we didn't have a chance to go over really any visuals. It looks like you sent a link.
Yeah, I've just put it in the chat. So I think so if anybody wants to kind of see the work that I've done and just kind of, get a better picture about it, my first company's video, we had this introduction video for one of our future events. So I've just shared that there with you guys in the chat. I've also shared a link to the current company that I founded, which is a self-care platform called Magic Mind. So you can check that out as well. Somehow both of them have been really successful, touch wood. But I really do think that the skills I learned at Wholesale about being a businesswoman without even realizing it were just paramount to these things happening and working out. So yeah, good stuff there, good happy times. Yeah.
So how long did it take from step one of becoming an entrepreneur, doing trial and error, offering a few events for free to getting to this point for you, Dee?
So with 420, the first company, so that company was, I started out, it took about 6 months for me to launch the first event. And then I think another 6 months in, once we had kind of done all the testing and we'd seen what worked, what didn't, we had a solid, a plan in action that we just kind of replicated and made better for the next ones. And there was still unfound problems that would come up. You can't predict everything and we'd have to deal with them. The biggest one being the weather, because we were a rooftop venue. So it was very scary that, sometimes the rain would just come and ruin everything we did. But again, we would kind of maneuver that into making it a rain dance event and having people kind of join together. And that's where community is so important, because it's about attitude. I think everything about this whole thing can be kind of summed up, whether you're the student, whether you're proactively going out there and meeting someone, even if you're someone kind of trying to build this, if you don't have that right attitude of, I can do it, oh my God, something's going wrong, but I can still figure this out. That's all you need. Once you have that, you can sail through, all pun intended. So yeah.
That should be on a t-shirt.
It should. That should be the tagline.
That's right.
All right, so we're piggybacking on the previous question of what jobs can you get as a media design graduate. This question is for both. What are some skills you still use at work that you learned from Wholesale? What are some skills you realized you should have learned in school?
Taylor, you want to go?
I will take it on. So things I still use, I think research is one of the biggest ones. There was a whole, before I had started my Wholesale journey, when I was doing design work, I was really let's just jump in the pool and then we'll figure out how deep it is later kind of a guy. And that's not a way to live. I mean, it'll wear you out. And so I think it's taking a step back and in fully understanding what you're doing when it comes to a project, whether that's designing a room for kids to play video games or whether it's designing motion graphics for a TV show, taking that time to step back, get the full lay of the land and make educated decisions is paramount when it comes to any project. And then one is, I used to design before I came to Wholesale. I just kind of designed around what I thought was cool, trends that I liked, genres of styles that I cared for. But when you go into the MDMFA program, you learn how to really get in the client's head and figure out what the client wants. And it's sometimes not always what the client wants, what the client needs. And so you kind of have to get a feel for what a client wants, look at the target audience, and then try to find that middle ground where sometimes you kind of have to educate your client on what, like, in their best interest, not in a like, hey, I went to Full Sail, you're wrong, let me tell you how this is done right. You know, that's not how to do it, but you have to, you know, gently guide them, say, hey, let's do some research, and let's say, hey, maybe we can meet in the middle about what you're wanting and what the target audience needs, and then you design around a central point like that. And so I learned a lot of that from Full Sail, which I didn't know beforehand, where I was like, hey, check out this cool design, it's awesome, it's got sparkles and lens flares, let's go with it. And so I think that's two of the major things that I really rely upon still.
Awesome. One question that I always think of, because we talk to a lot of parents and grandparents and sponsors in addition to the prospective student, what advice do you guys have for the parents? What would you have us pass on to those who are maybe unsure, unfamiliar, hesitating to let their child go into the creative entertainment realm?
Oh my God, Krista, you know, talking to Asian parents, especially about this stuff, when they want you to be very like traditional and have a safe path, you're going to tell them, I want to be in movies. They're like, what? No. So it was really hard. It was incredibly, I mean, I actually think that I created a presentation of pros and cons one day, or something to that effect, to kind of explain to them. But you do have to, kind of like how Taylor said, you have to talk to your client and educate them a bit on, you know, what the right thing for them is. The same way you're going to have to sit down and talk to your parents and be very sure first about what you want, and if this is really, you know, something you're passionate about, because the minute you're strong about it, your voice will automatically have the reasons why very solid, and it'll be right there. And have that conversation, communicate with them, show them the facts, show them how big the industry is, show them how much money there is in this industry. And I think, I mean, video games is still the biggest, isn't it, in terms of revenue, I think, overall globally. And no one in India knew that. Even I didn't believe. I was like, what? I had no idea. So that education is the first step, whether it's your parents, your client, even yourself, your friends. But I think the second thing is to almost always just do a bit of a show and tell. Let them understand, you know, let them see what it is, what other people have done, examples of that. It really helps. It's almost like a before and an after, and it gives them confidence. What they essentially want is to feel safe that their child is doing the right thing and is going to be secure. So once you hit those points with the way you talk to them and explain it, show them the course, show them the curriculum, show them the grads, what are they doing? It makes your case really strong. I think so. That's kind of what I would say for the parents.
Awesome. Do we have any more questions from the gallery? Anything we didn't cover that you guys would like to pick their brains on? Any specific companies, work experience? I did find it funny that both of you had Alienware in your bios, and I was like, oh, both 2011 grads. Maybe you took the online mastery first month together and you didn't even know it, and you both worked for the same company in some way, shape,
that's right.
So a small world, and constantly
world.
getting smaller in the Full Sail graduate community, right? Any more questions from anyone? I did pull up your video, so if you want, it's only 2 minutes long. We can probably share that really quick. This is your first company, you said?
Okay, everyone, disclaimer, I was a kid. I was just out of college. This is when I started. Feel free to laugh. But yeah, you can play about a minute of it or something. It's just an intro to show the event space.
Okay,
let me. Done with no capital, by the way. This was all community engagement. So that's.
But this is one of the first steps after college and pre-2 award-winning companies. All right, let's take a look. Go back.
Ever since I was a little girl,
I was always tripping in and out of love with things and colors and images and sounds. And I think somewhere I just didn't know how I was going to put it all together. But I guess dreams come true, and that's how I thought of 420. A very small idea in an even tinier room has become something so big that it's changed not just my life, but quite a few people. And I guess that's what life is all about. When you first come to 420, what immediately hits you is the ambience. You step onto this beautiful grassy rooftop in the middle of the city, and it's covered with toonie lights. It's an absolute visual treat, whether you're a kid, a photographer, or you just love being somewhere beautiful. You can choose to shop from all of our stores. Or if you're a music freak, you can just walk to the side of the stage and see our beautiful performers and musicians jamming in different genres under the starry night sky. With just one agenda in mind, to create and to connect. This is 420.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's done now. That's just the credits. Yeah.
All right, so very cool. Actually, we have another Full Sail graduate. I don't know if she's with us today. Sandra, are you on? This is making me think of the Sky Rock Festival that they created in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if she was able to join us today, but we should definitely introduce you both because you both graduated entertainment business.
Oh, I would love
And
that.
you know, just started things from scratch, created this entertainment venue basically that there was a need for. So very cool. Well, I think that's probably it from us. Does anyone have any last questions? I'm going to go once, twice, and I think we're good. Well, please everyone join me in a round of applause for our special guest. Thank you so much for
everyone who came in, and you, Krista, because you organized this really well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You guys made it easy. So thank you so much. I hope that was beneficial for everyone. I know I learned a lot about the online program experience at Full Sail, especially because you guys are quasi recent graduates, you've been out for a while. And so I think it's nice to hear what worked for you, and we can still apply that to what would be working for our current online students, as well as what they might need to look out to create for themselves. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we've got a few fans in the audience, so you guys may want to check out the chat. If anyone wants to turn their mics on and ask questions. Does anyone want to ask any live questions? Or
oh my God, Brandy, I would love that. I absolutely love Full Sail.
Yay. Taylor, I know we talked about if you've got any contact information that you're willing to share.
Sure.
I know that you've been very willing to volunteer as a mentor for prospective students. So if anyone is looking for that extra bit of support, wants to talk directly to a grad, maybe not even media design related, but something in the entertainment sector, I feel like you've got a hand in a few different realms. So
yeah, I'd be happy to. I mean, if you're dealing with students that have any questions, by all means, get them in touch with me. I'll share as much or as little my experience as they would like to listen to. But I'll be happy because I mean, it's one of my goals is to get the right people to this university because I've seen how much it's benefited me. So if I can help any of you with any students or any with your career, just let me know because I'll be happy to assist in any way that I can.
Yay, thank you, thank you. Please feel free to drop any appropriate contact information into the chat for these guys that they would be allowed to share with family and other students. Obviously, try to give them a heads up if you're giving out the information. And yes, if you guys want to be alumni ambassadors, we've kind of started what hopefully will become a Wholesale mentorship program. But we have a strong mentorship program and alumni ambassador program within International. So just trying to give the extra support to the folks that jump through a few extra hoops to get here. So yay.
Awesome.
There was another question. Taylor, are you looking for interns? And if so, what skill sets?
Oh goodness. Well, that depends on which, like you said, which pot do you want to be in? You know, it all depends. If it comes for like the motion graphics side, you know, that's always needing help with that. That if it's more the education side, or if it's with, you know, anything with Microsoft as well, that all depends. You know, I'm always willing to let someone help with something because, you know, everybody learns from everybody. So, you know, this any and everything, I'll be happy to have someone come along and help.
Awesome.
And then I'll put my email, that's my Gmail. You can send it to there. That's kind of my central hub. So feel free to drop me a line at any time with any questions, or if you want to help out or whatever, I'm always open.
And Dee, I don't know if you're ever hiring over there, but it sounds like you're tight with the Indian Wholesale graduate community. So you probably are already connected with those who might be able to be of service to your companies. I think we may have lost our internet again.
That's the constant battle right now. It's like internet, it's the lifeblood of everything we do.
Right? If we thought we were in the digital age, well, now we realize
we are.
bugs are in the digital age.
That's so true.
Awesome. Brandy, I think you were did you turn on your mic? If you guys want to talk to them anymore, we'll keep the line open for a few extra minutes for anyone.
Yeah, we set up some time to talk. I think the mentorship component is really great, Taylor, that giving new graduates encouragement and sharing your experience is something that we're always looking for with that next step after graduation, because, you know, we're not all experts when we graduate, even though we think we are sometimes.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
We have our International Alumni Ambassador program or application process, and you guys are already giving back to Wholesale as it is. But we do global grad sessions, we do networking events, and mentorship is something that we've been really wanting to have for our alumni, so that when they're out there looking for experience, they have a sounding board. They're always in our office for at least a few months before their OPT cards. So it's almost like they're leaving us and they're like not sure if they can come talk to us or not anymore. So being able to kind of give them another hand along the way would be really great. I'd love to talk with you more about that.
Sure. Yeah, any way I can help, I'll be happy to do it.
Okay, thanks.
Because it is a scary step. It's like you get your diploma and you walk off the stage, you're like, I've got it. Now what? You know? So yeah, I'd be happy to help.
I know they kind of like look more refreshed because they had a chance to sleep.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I've heard that's good.
Now? So yeah. Well, thank you. And Devika, I would love to talk with you more too. Our Indian community could really use a strong leader like you and help them bridge the community that you've been able to do so far too.
Oh my God, I would love that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. You're amazing. As a woman myself too, just hearing you're like, just go and do it. Like, just, you know, move out the way. And it's really encouraging to hear that you're doing that as well. And that's also a lot of your strength and why you've been so successful. So I think that's really awesome.
Thank you, Brandy. I'd love to chat with you sometime.
Yeah. Let's do it. Sounds
so
great.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over, Krista. But
Oh, no. That's fine. Jairo, you've got a huge boatload of students that are looking into these programs, I think. I don't know if you wanted to jump on at all. Do you guys have LinkedIn profiles that you could share? He had asked for.
Oh, yeah, I'll go grab that real quick.
I think I shared it earlier, so I'll just share it again in the chat.
Okay. So you guys grab what you need from the chat. Any of our in-country reps out there? Shout out to Lisa, Charlene, David. Who else have we got on here? Trying to see. Yoshida. If you guys want to jump on, introduce yourselves. We've got some representatives from around the globe. So I know they're having some internet issues as well, and it's super late for them. Thanks for being here, guys. we're butting into bedtime.
I have to go feed my cats after this. You guys see them coming in and out of the video? I was like, oh my God, no. It's gonna be like one of those TikTok videos of the guy on the video conference where his cat like attacks him or something. Yeah.
Awesome. Dave says really helpful to have you guys here. Yeah, I hope that was helpful and applicable to you guys. I know we all are kind of catering to different cultures, different regions. So some things speak more strongly to others, and it was great to have you guys kind of represent both sides of the world a bit.
Yeah.
That really helps. And you guys will have to connect more after this too, and
sure.
dive more into. Who knows? You guys are going to be partners later on. I can tell.
I know. This
will start something up.
Hey, we said the same thing. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Anu, you got a shout out earlier in the video. I don't know if she was able to join from the beginning.
I am here. I've been here throughout.
Okay, awesome.
Just tired. Started the day early. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I couldn't miss it for anything. I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Awesome.
I just want to share something very quickly about Devika. You know how she connected and how we met? We were at Comic-Con. You remember, Devika?
Yes, I was a panelist at Comic-Con. Yeah.
And she suddenly sees a Full Sail stand, and we were right in front of the big stage, and she said, Full Sail is here. That's how she came in, and I want to connect and I want to do this, and I'm like, wow. That was the first girl I had in my group, as an alumni. Thank you for always supporting, Devika. You've been awesome.
Thank you, Anu. You've always been such a lovely energy and such a positive person. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And hearing you, Taylor, it's been amazing.
Thank you.
I think all of you have given the confidence that online programs work so beautifully.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They do.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Any last video pop-ups? Want to chat with them in person? No one's leaving. I don't know if I gotta
You gotta shut this party down.
You can all start in.
All right. Did you guys get all the information you need? I saved the chat, so hopefully I will have everything I need, and we can send a recap with the recording. So yeah, let me just know too, you guys, if we can share everything that we put on camera, all the work, if that's all right to share in the recording. This will be shared internally with us for them to
that's fine.
look at. Okay.
Thank you, Krista, for putting this meeting together. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Devika, for taking the time to do this for us as well.
You're very welcome.
This is very helpful. I appreciate it.
Very welcome.
We should do this more often, Krista.
Oh, well, if you guys know of any other grads too, Taylor and Dee, that we should be connecting with. I mean, this is fuel for the breadwinners, the front line. And so I know you guys are just call after call trying to keep these students rolling through and keep them encouraged and enthusiastic about their journeys. Hyro's got a lot of students to speak to.
I know a couple students that are about to graduate from the business intelligence master's program. So I would like to have this chat with her name is Lena and his name is Rob. So it'll be awesome to pick their brains.
I love the Mario in the background too. Extra points for that.
Thank you. I designed that on a rainy day.
Yeah, I gotcha. Actually, hey, this is my coffee cup for the morning. So look, we can kind of make him
awesome.
bounce across there.
That's great, Taylor. Great.
Yeah, we're always, if you guys do know of any other online graduates, because we're pushing online programs so fiercely at this point as being, one and only option.
That's right.
What students can gain from a Full Sail online degree. I know that we've built our online platform, so it's fairly solid. I've been telling schools myself, like, we haven't really had to worry too much because a lot of it has already been formatted to online. So not very much lost ground in our case. But yeah, we're always looking to connect with more graduates. And again, this is just more inspiration to keep us going on our side.
Awesome. Wonderful.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
You're very welcome.
All right, guys. More thank you. So check out the chat before you two get off. Taylor, having your contact and willingness will really be helpful for students. This is Isha, one of our DSOs. This is helpful for them to connect with people, especially as they start their employment authorization. So Taylor, you may not know too much about the international realm. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, but our students have to jump through a lot of hoops of fire to get to Full Sail. And then they have to jump through more hoops afterwards to get their employment authorization in the United States for a minimum of 12 months. So that's what we call OPT, the optional practical training period. And most of our graduates want that US work experience, if not sponsorship from companies.
So I had asked if you were looking for interns.
Yeah.
Because students are always looking for some type of opportunity, especially in the field that they studied in. So students that are graduated with like digital arts and design, even computer animation, things like that, if those are the skill sets that you're looking for, and if you have room for a couple of interns, then we know that if some of the students are having a hard time, they can ask you.
Sure, I'm open for any kind of mentorship opportunities.
Yeah.
If I don't have an opportunity for an internship, I would be more than happy to find some place for them to go. I still have a lot of contacts in the industry, even though I'm working for a school full time now. But I would be happy to reach out to anybody that I know to try to get them put in the right place where they can grow and they can get that experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other shout outs from the team? It's probably helpful for you guys to see some of our faces too. And give a shout out to where you're from. We've got representatives from India, Brazil, Colombia, Vietnam, China. Who am I missing? Mexico? Is Mexico in here?
I was actually thinking, Anu, if you'd like, I could maybe even, put you in touch with the team I'm working with now at Leverage Edu, because we have so many incoming students constantly looking for colleges to go to. And I've always been promoting Full Sail, but if you maybe want to talk to someone who's, at the admin level and kind of stir up a conversation and see if there's something.
What are you waiting for? You don't need to ask. You just need to pick up the call and just do that, right?
Lovely. And I'll just share the link right now anyway for Leverage Edu if you want to just kind of check it out, because they're pretty lovely. There you go. If anyone's interested. But yeah, let's do that. Should we do that this week? Should I set something up?
This week is weekend, right? Monday.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
Like, what day is it even?
I'm working tomorrow. No worries. I'm working tomorrow. I have a couple of things lined up. So yeah, sure.
Wonderful. Okay. Great.
And
cool, guys.
Go ahead, Anna.
No, I just wanted to say bye. It's getting a little late here, and I've been working since about 8 in the morning. So.
Must be starving. Have you eaten anything?
No, we've been on the call since I had.
You're always working, right? Always.
So yeah. I'm gonna just probably say bye. Thank you again. Meeting everybody again is awesome. See you soon, everyone. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I know.
I know Lena's probably doing double duty right now. I didn't know if she could jump on real quick. Lena, are you there?
No, I was trying to give everyone a chance to talk, but I am so grateful for you guys for sharing your experience. And Krista, you did a phenomenal job putting it together and moderating. I think it was very helpful for the team. We don't get to speak to a lot of online students and a lot of graduates from the online programs. So this is a first for us. And I think that we couldn't have chosen two better people to represent. So you guys did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to work with you guys. I know new Zoom links and wasn't able to connect until this morning, but made it happen. You guys are superstars. What can I say? So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I'm sure this won't be the last time you see us. So stay tuned
anytime.
for more adventures.
Yeah, anytime.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm officially ending it, everyone. Have a great Friday and happy weekend.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.